Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on this particular basket. There are two different sizes within this one pattern. There's a small and a large, just like you see, but what is different about these baskets is that they're lined with another color. So this actual fact, when you go to do this, there's two baskets, but then at some point the baskets are going to be put together and then the finals are going to then be put around. So what I've done off camera is that I've done the small one already, which I can see here, and what we're going to do is that this is going to be a base, and I want to tell you a little bit about the stitch work here in order to keep these going and around in a complete circle. So here is the base of this, and I can use a needle to bring this closed if that bothers you. So what happens is that I like to make sure that I put a stitch marker in right where it tells you to do it in order to get bigger. So we're gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then once we get to the stitch marker, which you can see there's a definite line, we're then just gonna go and continue to circle until you get to a certain height. You're going to do for both sets of the baskets, like this is the liner and then the outside are gonna be both done the same, and they're gonna sit within each other, and then once they're sitting with each other we're going to then put them together with our hook in order to make it go all the way around. So it's a really neat idea. So I want to tell you a little bit about the base here. So you're gonna notice like hats, they always have like incremental increases. These do too, but they're always not at the same spot. So that's kind of an odd thing, and the reason for it is that you get a more accurate circle if they're not at the same spot every time. So as we work through today's pattern, you're going to notice that where we do the increases in these circles will change, and it's only to do it so that you get a nice round circle. So I have the interior liner already done, so it's the same thing as that we're about to do with the outside, and then at some point in this tutorial we're going to put these together and then we're gonna finish them off putting them together at the same time. Now in this pattern what's gonna happen is that the small stops in round 12 and then it jumps over to both versions here. So what we want to do is that we want to think about how we're gonna do this. So if you want to do the large version, you have to continue to do your growth for 13, 14, 15, and 16 in order to get the larger size that you see here. And it's amazing, it's only 4 rounds, but it is significantly different. So once you can do either or, I'm gonna do the small here on camera, and then you can follow these using the instructions, because I think by that point you'll get it. And then what we're gonna do is that we're gonna carry on and make the height, which is 3 inches then for the small, and 4 inches, and the height is from the base here of where you're going to grow it up like this. And then we're going to put the baskets together, and we're gonna put them together and just do a finalization, and so that they are one solid unit when you're going to work with these. So without further ado, we need a small crochet hook. It's actually shocking for this yarn. It is a 4mm, and I think that is a size, I can't remember off the top of my head, it is a size G. So we need actually a small crochet hook in order to make this, so you have a nice dense basket, and I think that you'll love it at the same time. So it'll take a little bit to make this project because the hook is smaller, but then you don't have any gaping holes, so that you can put this basket on display and you don't have to worry about anything falling out of it. So let's begin 4mm size G crochet hook today. Okay, and I'm going to be doing inner or outer basket for the small size. It's both the same until you get to a certain point in today's tutorial. So let's begin, and we are going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and in the second chain from the hook I want you to put 8 single crochets into that same stitch. So this will start turning that middle circle. So we have to go 1, and it may take you a bit of getting used to this small size hook with this thick yarn. So you have 2, it's 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. Once you get to 8, then you just join it to the first one. If you're not sure which one it is, just count it back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. For me, I've been crocheting long enough that I know where that is, but if you're never unsure, just count backwards from this point, and there is the starting of your basket. So let's move along to round number 2. Round number 2, we're gonna chain up 1, and in the same one that you just did the join, you want to put in 2 single crochets into each one of those, and into that stitch, and then into each one of the ones going all the way around. So you're just doubling your diameter. So 2 single crochets into each all the way around, to see at the end of this round. When you get all the way around, you're just gonna join it to the top of the first one that you did. We're gonna do this every time, and I'm gonna give you the instruction to get you started, and I want you to know how to join. Okay, so here at the end, okay, if you're not sure and you're thinking that you got one more to go, you don't. So this one here is leaning into this stitch here, and it's part of that stitch. I know that it looks like it's gaping right now, but once you join it with the slip stitch, everything pulls together. This is where people go wrong in hats. See that? So if you're not sure, if you physically count, you'll notice that there's 16 here. So let's move along, and I'm going to get you started on each one of these revolutions, and I want you to fasten off, or sorry, do a slip stitch every time that you get back to the start in order to keep this tutorial moving forward. So round number 3, let's begin. We're gonna chain up 1, and in the same one that you did the join, I want you to put 2 single crochets in there. So here is the repeat pattern throughout this entire round. The next one is gonna be 1 into the next one, and then the next one is gonna be 2. Okay, 2 single crochets. Okay, so the next one is gonna be 1, and then the next one is gonna be 2. So please do that all the way around, just like you see. So let's just join it to the top and of the very first one that we had started with. Okay, so that was round number 3. So let's begin. You can see it still looks great. So let's move on to round number 4. So I'll show you how to get started. So we're gonna chain up 1, and then what we're gonna do then is that in the same one you did the join, you're gonna put 2 single crochets in. So here's the repeat pattern. So there's gonna be 2 and 1, and then the next 2 are by themselves. So just 1 single crochet in each of the 2, and then 2 into the next one. Okay, you got that? So the next 2 are by themselves, 1 and 2, and then the next one has 2. Please do that same pattern all the way around for round number 4. Okay, round number 4 is complete. I've already done my join. So let's begin round number 5. So we're gonna chain up 1, and in the one that you did the join 2, you're gonna put 2 single crochets into that same one. And now the next 3 in a row, okay, 1, 2 and 3 will all be singles by themselves. So 1, whoops, I dropped my stitch, and 2 and 3 are by themselves. So the next one is 2 into the same one, so 1 and 2, and then the next 3 are by themselves. So please do that same pattern going all the way around for round number 5. So let's begin round number 6. Remember I told you that the incremental amounts will differentiate. They will not be in the same spot. Well, round number 6 is that same example. So we're gonna chain up 1, and the first 2 stitches are gonna be 1 single crochet each. So 1 and 2, and then the next one is gonna be 2 into the same one. So what this does is that it helps it prevent from getting a spoke look on your project by changing where it grows. So the next 4, so here's the repeat pattern. So you got 2 into here, and so this time then it's gonna be 4 in a row, so of just single crochets. Last time it was 3, so there's 4, and the only difference is that you just change where that spoke location is. So the next one then has 2, 1 and 2. Okay, so if you get it, so the next one is 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then the next one has 2. So please do that all the way around. You'll notice because this round starts off not putting 2 right in the very beginning, that you'll end up with 2 single crochets by themselves before you do the join. So let's continue for round number 6. So let's begin round number 7. So round number 7 gets you to start off the same way that you had been before. Again, this is just alternating to make the rounds look like they're not spoking out. So chaining up 1, and so the first one where you did the join is gonna be 2 into the same one, and then it's gonna be 5 single crochets in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and so the repeat pattern then goes, this is 5, the repeat pattern goes then is 2 is into the next one. Okay, so 2, so then you got 5 and 2, 5 and 2. Please do that all the way around. So now let's move on to round number 8. So round number 8 is gonna stagger the beginning. Again, we're not gonna start off right off the bat with putting 2 in the first one. So we chain up 1, and there's gonna be 1 single crochet in each of the next 2. So 1 and 2. So 2 are by themselves just like you see here, and it's actually really quite easy, and so there's gonna be 2 into the next one from this point. So 1 and 2. So in this round here the repeat pattern is 6 are by themselves from this point. So 1, 2, this was going to be 3 3, 4 and 5 and 6, and once you get to 6 you put 2 into the next one to keep that growth going. So 1. This is a really tight stitch because of the size of the hook, so it looks great. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. So there's 6 in a row and then 2, and so when you get all the way back around, just like you see here, you'll have single crochets sitting by themselves at the end as well. So and then you'll do the join. So that's round number 8. So continue along, see you on round number 9. So let's move on to round number 9. 9 goes back to the way it was before, so we're gonna chain up 1 and it's gonna be 2 single crochets into the first, and then this time around it's gonna be 7 single crochets in a row, then 2 and 7. Continue to do that all the way around for round number 9. Okay, number 9 is now complete, and now let's move on to round number 10. So round number 10 we're gonna shift on where we get started on doing the increases. So let's begin, and we are going to chain up 1 and 1 single crochet into the first one like we normally would, and then it says to do 1 single crochet in each of the next 3. So there's gonna be 3 in a row. So 1, 2 and 3, and then we put 2 into the next one. So 1 and 2, and now this round here is gonna be 8 single crochets and then 2, 8, and then do that all the way around just like you had been. So it's 8 this time, so just start counting those out and I'll see you at the end of this round. So let's move on to round number 11. So here we go, we're gonna chain up 1 and 11's back to normal again, so 2 in the very beginning. So 1 and 2, and in number 11 it's 9 in a row, and then 2, 9 and then 2. Continue to do that for round number 11. So now let's move on to round number 12. For the small basket, this is the final growth round, and you'll notice that in the other basket you'll see that it is much smaller than what the original is. It takes all this extra distance for this basket to finally stop growing. So you're thinking it's a little short at this point, but in actual fact it does take that long. So let's begin, and round number 12 is going to be just starting incrementally a little bit down the way. So we're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna do 1 single crochet in the first, and now the next 4 are gonna be by themselves. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here's the repeat pattern for this one. So 2 into the next, so 1 and 2, and then 10 by themselves, then 2 and 10. Continue to do that all the way up for round number 12. So I'm coming up to the end of round number 12 and I'm gonna join. So that's the last time we're gonna grow this, and you can see it's working out pretty good. So you'll notice on the other one here we have a definitive line that appears here. I know it might be hard to see here on the camera, but it gives a nice flat edge for the basket. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna do in the back loops only in order to create this line, and then we have to go a certain distance. So the small is 3 inches and the big one is 4 inches. So once we complete this next round, you're just gonna go round and around and around, no more addition of it, and you're gonna notice that it's gonna start curving around like it would on a hat, because it takes time to stop growing things. So let's move along, and we're now moving to both versions in the next round. So if you did the large version and you want to continue, you do 13, 14, 15 and 16 on your own, and then you'll pick up at this point here on what to do next. So we're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna go into the back loop only. So you're in a stitch, there's always 2 strands. Okay, so if you go into the front strand, it's the front loop, and you go into the other one, it's the back loop. So if you go into the back loop, what happens is that it creates that line. So you're just gonna work your way into each back loop as a single crochet all the way around, and it will create that line, but it will also create that bend in the fabric that you need in order to have this basket sit really quite nicely on your table. So with this round number 12, please back loop single crochet into each one of them going around. So when you get all the way back around, you're just gonna join it to the beginning of the first single crochet. So here's the thing. Okay, that's part of that one. So here's the thing. It says to place a marker so that you can measure the distance between this part here going up. But there's a definite line that you can see. So you can either place in a stitch marker if you wish. So why don't we just do that just to satisfy this pattern. So let me just cut a piece of yarn here off camera. And what I can just do is that I can use that stitch marker. Okay, so right where the line is, right here. And I'm just gonna do that. And I'm just gonna, it's just loose, it's just for me to put it in there so I can see it. So from this point forward I need to measure 3 inches for the size small. So if you can see the line like you can on this one here, you can just measure it. So what I want to do, because this is the second one, I want to make sure that I'm going to count the number of rows to confirm the outside one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up to my living room, just crochet for a while, and I'm going to get this one distance up and done so both of them are matching each other so that they can sit inside each other. So if you're just finishing one, then you'll have to go back and do the other one. Okay, so there is your outside or your inside depending on what you were doing first, and then I'm going to join up, put these back together. I'll nest them and then I'll put them together so that you have them out. So this is what it kind of looks like at this moment. So I'll see you back here. So just single crochets going all the way around. Make sure you chain one, single crochet, and then join, single crochet and join, and keep doing that, and you'll notice it will take a while before it actually starts to bowl around like a basket. And I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, when I last left you, I was working on the outside, so I'd already done the middle one first, and then I did the outside, and I just made sure everything is going to match each other, and I put them inside. Now when I did it originally, I really didn't think that they were going to fit inside each other. I'm having kind of a rough day today, so my tension's tighter than the original. So you want to make sure, because they are fitting together, that if you're going to have a good day, make sure you have a good day with both of them, not just a crazy day on one day and easy day on the next. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to attach these together. Now because they're the same size, is that the stitches will match each other. So what we want to do is that we want to join them together. So going into the first stitch, okay, just right there, and going into the matching one on the other side, pull through and single crochet. So you're just going to work your way just all the way around, and as you work your way around, you're joining them together with the single crochet just like that. Okay, isn't that easy? That neat? So therefore you don't have any sewing to do. It's all just single crochet. So please do that all the way around for this round. So as they finish up, it's looking pretty fabulous, isn't it? It's a lot heavier than I expected it from the photograph, because I guess I'm using 2 balls of the Bernat Maker Home Deck. So I'm actually really happy with it. I'm actually it's pretty solid. It's actually pretty fabulous. I've never done anything like this before, so it's kind of a fun project, and I think the two pieces working together really provide that strength that people love in a basket. I've seen baskets online where people kind of cheapen off on the yarn, and then they kind of fall apart if you're not staging them properly. This one will not have a problem. It's nice and sturdy. So I'm liking that. So all the stitches matched each other, so that means that my stitch counts were correct. Thank goodness. And I'm going to join to the beginning. So let's do your final round together. So the final round is a reverse single crochet going in the opposite direction from which you just came. You don't turn around the project though, you want to go in reverse. Usually we crochet it forward like this, we're gonna go backward. So to do that, we're gonna chain up one first, and you're gonna go into the stitch right before it and insert in, and then you're gonna pull through. Okay, you have 2 loops on the hook, pull through. Let me just zoom in and show you what I'm doing. So to do the reverse, just go into the stitch before, pull through, you have 2, and then pull through 2. Okay, so you're going in before, pull through 2. It's a reverse single crochet. This is also called a crab stitch, and this is providing a really unique look and thing. Do you see what it looks like? It's neat, eh? So that's really kind of cool. I just finished a tutorial already this afternoon of doing this on the outside. Also did a tutorial yesterday on borders of Afghans, also using the same stitch. The crab stitch is really quite fun. So that's all you have to do is reverse single crochet all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of this revolution. So I'm coming all the way back around. Don't forget, like the first one here has to be done, and if you don't do it then it looks like it's odd and out of place. So what you need to do at this point is just kind of slip stitch it together. Now how you sew this is gonna matter on this particular stitch. It does matter significantly. So just pull it up like this. So if you do it just conventionally of just kind of weaving in your ends, you're always gonna see it. So you just gotta take your time and you just gotta weave it in and try to do your very best, and I'll see you back here in a second. So I put the loose end on a darning needle, and what I want to do is just glide it underneath the stitches. I don't want to impede the edge at all. Just stay right up underneath. Just get it in there. So the trick is that you can, this kind of yarn here is more like a cord. So you just really kind of want to just be patient with it and just kind of pull it up underneath and just watch this edge. Just watch that, and then coming back in the other direction. Just again, just bearing it in between the stitches. Don't try to impede it on the outside. So if you go back and forth 3 times in your project, it'll never fall out to use fall out when you're going to use this kind of project. Nothing is worse than you giving somebody something and it falls out with the tails. So you just want to kind of bury it in. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and it's completely in. And I can cut right down to the project. So now I just got to turn it over and make sure I have no loose ends on the bottom, like so. And this is my basket, and this is really kind of cool. This is called the Color Pop Crochet Basket by yarnspirations.com. I've never done one of these before, so now you've gotten to see that, and I hopefully that you've enjoyed that today, and I will see you again next time. See ya. Bye bye.